Really? Well, check this out here. What type of changes do we have? This will be interesting.
Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige, Bob Iger, CEO of Disney right now, and even Mark Ruffalo, the Hulk, have recently commented about Disney, Marvel Studios, and how Disney Plus isn't necessarily good for them. And because of that, some big changes are coming to Marvel Studios a lot sooner.
Ha! Disney Plus was great for them. They just made trash movies and television shows for that platform.
Rather than later. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm your host, Warren, and Marvel Studios really is indeed making some big changes to the MCU and how they go about making their projects in the MCU and where they are going to put their new focus. Disney Plus started out pretty strong for Marvel Studios. We started off with WandaVision, we had Loki, plus other pop culture shows were coming out as well, like The Mandalorian shows were coming out.
Let me see that. Let me see what we got here. WandaVision was good. Falcon and Winter Soldier was okay. Loki was good. It was alright to me. I liked the second season more, I think. Ms. Marvel was alright. She-Hulk was bad. What If was good. Secret Invasion was bad. Moon Knight was okay. Iron Groot was alright. Yeah, so you don't see a whole lot of great. You know what I mean? Best thing there was the first season of What If, to me, that I'm looking at right here, was WandaVision, Loki, and What If. Those three are standouts.
We had Loki, plus other pop culture shows were coming out as well, like The Mandalorian, which did really well. However, due to the sheer volume of Disney Plus shows that Marvel Studios had, ultimately we would get some shows that weren't that good.
It wasn't because of the volume, it's because of what they were pushing. That's what it was. It was not the volume, because everything that they've still given time to, even the movies and the shows, when they decided to slow down a little bit, it still doesn't matter. It's still because they're pushing all this agenda stuff. It's not working.
And Marvel Studios, at least, and Disney, Bob Iger, feels that the quality has definitely went down due to the massive overload of Disney Plus shows. Yeah. There was a time where Marvel Studios only released 2 movies a year, and then we went to, in Phase 4, a time where Marvel Studios at least had planned 4 movies a year plus 5, 6 plus Disney Plus shows. And that is not how it is going to be anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Disney, you know, I know you watch this. Listen, you already know that even if you slow down and you only release 2 movies a year, it's not going to matter as long as you stay the current course. You stay the current course, it'll just be less bad movies every year instead of more bad movies and TV series every year.
In fact, a new report states that they really aren't going to focus that much on Disney Plus anymore, and that their focus is really going to shift to their movies. That, and when they do end up doing Disney Plus shows, they're going to be a lot more grounded, and they're going to be a lot more independent. And
well, I wish that you would focus to get back to before pre-Endgame. Get back to pre-Endgame quality and writing and fundamentals and characters, all that stuff. And bribe the Russos, okay? Bribe them with 2 flatbeds of trucks. I know they're twins. Give them whatever they want on flatbed trucks and have them come in. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Dive into what
See, I just shouted, yeah, Russos!
Exactly.
Hope you're doing well
in this video. And if you're new, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest MCU news. So after 2025, it appears that Marvel Studios is not going to be making a lot of live action shows, but they'll be shifting their focus big time to their movies, which is great. But also at the same time, they're still going to be focusing on animated projects. And this makes sense because the teams that are required to make a movie and a live action show are for the most part essentially the same same team, but the team required to make an animated show is different. Therefore, making an animated show really won't take away from the team that is making a live action movie. Whereas a movie and a show require a lot of the same team and requires a lot more attention. And this was one of the main problems at Marvel Studios, that Kevin Feige was spread way too thin. He had way too much to overlook. If you think about all of them...
Yeah, he wasn't spread too thin. He was spreading too much woke on his peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's what he was doing. And he was putting them together, peanut butter, jelly, and woke sandwiches, and giving them out to everybody. And people's like, what is this? What'd you put on it? It's my woke spread. Yeah, that's what I put on it. It's this new thing we're doing. It's not working. I don't want it. I threw mine in the trash.
Movies and the shows that Marvel Studios has announced for Phase 4, Phase 5, and Phase 6, it's a lot. And Kevin Feige and Bob Iger have basically admitted that that is the reason that the quality has seemingly been lacking for Marvel Studios. However, luckily for us, Marvel is making some changes.
Why.
And it seems like Kevin Feige and Bob Iger have had a lot of discussions about this. We already know that when Marvel Studios did their yearly retreat, the tone of the retreat was a lot different. Normally it's a very good, calm, happy vibe, but this year it was all about how do we fix the MCU? How do we recover from the past couple of years that we've had? Well, Marvel has a new
Well, I know how. And I know you know how. See, one of the things is that people will say, oh, they don't know how to make them anymore. They do. They do know how. However, they decided to hire writers and say, don't look at the source material. They decided to go way past that and just push a bunch of stuff to check a box. They cannot do that anymore if they want to make money. They know it. So in Deadpool 3, you see, he's Marvel Jesus. He's the Messiah. So maybe this is them finally putting things in check, tongue in cheek, making fun of themselves, and getting back to business. But we'll only be able to tell once Deadpool 3 comes out.
Plan. And Bob Iger has not been shy about announcing that they're going to be making some changes. Here are some things that he had to say in Disney's Q1 2024 earnings call. He said, one of the things that I've been saying before is that volume sometimes can be detrimental to quality. And in
your case, volume wasn't the problem. It was agenda.
To greatly increase volume, partially tied to wanting to chase more global subs for our streaming platform, some of our studios lost a little focus. So the first step that we've taken is that we've reduced volume. We've reduced output, particularly at Marvel. Bob Iger and Kevin Feige have actually been talking about this for a while, but what exactly does that mean for Marvel Studios? Well,
nothing if you don't change the quality and the writing and the stories and the characters.
Shows at the moment. They're going to be focusing on animated stuff and live action movies. The next live action shows we'll get from them will be more grounded. So although I've heard pretty good things about Agatha Darkhold Diaries, it sounds like Marvel Studios is essentially going to move on from doing shows like that and focus more on...
Yeah, it's going to mean nothing unless they write it right.
Shows like Daredevil. In fact, Daniel RPK goes on to explain, he states, Marvel is focusing on more street heroes for TV from now on and wants them to be more independent, like Echo and Moon Knight. Now, I personally loved Moon Knight, so having more shows like Moon Knight would be amazing. And Moon Knight may be street level, but he also kind of ties into the mystic side of the MCU, tying into the Midnight Suns and the mystic genre. So just because they're going to be street level projects doesn't mean that they won't tie into other things and will just be about fighting street crime. But Daniel RPK goes on to state...
Just because they're going to be street level doesn't mean they're going to be good. You know what I'm saying? So that's that
the only cosmic level project that could have a series is Nova. And what this sounds like to me is that Marvel Studios is essentially going to make everything that they have planned that is going to be really big, they're going to put that on the big screen. So
what I'm thinking is all this jargon that they're saying is basically what it could be is what they're saying is, okay, we admit defeat. The direction we've been going with our movies, stuff we've been pushing, all the agenda stuff, all the politics stuff, the woke politics in particular, has not been working. However, we will say it was this thing that caused the failure. And we're going to say that we're going to do this to fix it. But behind the scenes, they will be writing things properly. And they will be going away from all the woke politics and the agenda stuff. And they're going to take things back to normal. I think this is all just cover words for, yeah. But we'll see. I'm hoping that that's what it is. You're saving face by saying, oh yeah, we're just putting out too much. Okay, save face, just give us the good entertainment. Right, all street level, right, you're gonna focus on a movie. Oh, focus on a quiet. Right. I hope all of that just means you're getting back to basics and you're giving us what made you blockbuster, popular, multi-billion-dollar movies great in the first place.
But for the Disney Plus shows, which we'll have less of soon after 2025, there'll be individual stories about some awesome characters, and we'll get stories like Moon Knight and Daredevil. But they're not going to be really big, huge events. For example, Secret Invasion. That was one of the biggest events in Marvel Comics, and they tried to make it into a show. It was a complete failure, and a lot of people thought that it should have been made into a movie, a big movie, in which I agree, it probably should.
And it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered. Now we all know what happened, and if they had to just put that in a movie, it would have been a flop. It would have had to been totally written different. And I mean, Nick Fury ain't even the same no more, man. Like, good Lord. Anyway, like I said, we all know why that thing failed.
Should have been, but that is their idea moving forward. Tell giant, huge stories on a big screen in a movie. That way, they can kind of get to how the MCU...
You mean what they were doing before all this started? What they were doing right up until Endgame? Minus Captain Marvel? Like, yeah, a long, huge, intertwined, interconnected story, all in movies. Wow. I mean, that's who would have thought.
Felt before. A lot of you have actually mentioned you felt this way in the comments and on Twitter and Instagram. But a lot of people, including myself, felt that when Marvel Studios in the past released a movie, it was just such a huge event.
That's right.
It was a big deal when we got to see the next Marvel film. However, now they've pumped out so much content that anytime something new releases...
No, they pumped out so much trash that people don't want to watch it anymore.
It's not as exciting, and Marvel is really trying to
that's why it's
capture
not
back
exciting.
That feeling, which is why we're going to get less stories told on Disney Plus and more on the big screen. And Disney and Marvel are really honing in on their focus. On that same Q1 2024 earnings call, Bob Iger said this: "We're very bullish about the films coming out. I'd say we're leaning a little bit more into sequels and franchises, some that we feel great about, like Toy Story is, for instance, obviously Star Wars, Avatar we've talked about. Marvel is starting to focus on some of its stronger franchises going forward."
You know, I'd like to hear from him say, we're going to change things up and get back to fundamentals. We're going to get a little away from what we've been doing. Doesn't seem to have been working. They don't even have to name it because everyone knows. We're going to get away from what we've been doing. It doesn't seem to have been working. We're going to get back to the fundamentals of what made the Marvel Cinematic Universe great. See? That's great to say in a press conference. Everybody be like, oh, but we all know what that was PC speak for. You know what I mean? That's what I want them to say.
But I'll leave it at that. He then talked about how he wants people to go out of their homes and go see movies again. He commented stating, "And I think given the environment and given what it takes to get people out of their homes to see a film, doing that, leaning on franchises that are familiar is actually a smart thing. So we've got work to do still. We're not resting on our laurels or sitting on our hands. We're working hard at it, but I feel quite good about the trajectory. So moving forward, Marvel is going to start to focus on their stronger franchises and stronger characters, which means, and I don't want to reduce any character that has already been introduced in the MCU, but we are going to get less characters introduced into the MCU, and when we do get kind of secondary characters introduced or tertiary characters introduced, they're not really going to have that much focus or...
You know what makes me mad about it? I was so engrossed in the whole Marvel thing. Like it was just so great to be enjoying Marvel that I couldn't get enough. You didn't see anybody complaining about how many. See, this is the thing. You didn't hear fans complaining about how much they were putting out. It was the quality of the characters and the storytelling that they were putting out. That's what you heard people complaining about. The characters, the stories, more specifically, the agendas, everything that they were pushing politically. That's what you heard fans talking about that was making them mad. Okay? And the fans that can't handle any type of backlash, and I get it, because there's different type of personalities out there, you know. The fans that were vocal on YouTube or on Twitter or Facebook or wherever have you, they glossed over it. You know, there's certain things that they said and you knew that they were glossing over it. But we knew what they all meant. Nobody was complaining about how many you were putting out. Because as long as you are putting out quality, people will sit their big butts down and tune in to Disney Plus or go to the movie theater to watch these movies or these series. We will make it a priority. Why do you think we're always looking for bingeable things on Netflix? We're looking for great programming. We want it to keep coming. We never say, I'm just so tired of this show. No! Oh, they're putting out too much of it. No. You don't hear people say that. We can't get enough of great entertainment. You know what it is. Get back to the fundamentals. Get back to the greatness that you know that you can produce, Disney.
Spotlight placed upon them. Basically, Marvel and Disney do not want to dilute the focus any more than
Nothing's
they have to.
diluted.
They have already admitted that they have diluted the focus a lot, specifically when it comes to Disney Plus shows. This is what Bob Iger had to say on that same call about it. Marvel's a great example of that. They had not been in the TV business at any significant level. Not only did they increase their movie output, but they ended up making a number of television series, and frankly, it diluted focus and attention.
False. Guess what? I bet you if they had released all of these series that they released pre-Captain Marvel, I bet you they'd have been bangers. Maybe not every single one of them, but I bet you the majority of them would have been bangers. I'm willing to bet. If there is a multiverse, I'd like to step into the one where they released all of them during their first few phases, or in a multiverse where they didn't go woke and they released it. I bet you they run the world in that universe because they made so much money off of their entertainment not going broke. I bet you. I need an interdimensional machine.
Is, I think, more the...
I'd like to meet the Tyrone Magnus from that universe. Wonder what he's doing. He's probably happy.
Cause than anything else. So, it's pretty clear what the new plan for Marvel Studios is. They are going to reduce their output significantly of Disney Plus shows and really focus on movies. Not only that, but when they do release a Disney Plus show, it's going to be a very grounded Disney Plus show. A great independent story, but nothing too huge that deserves to be told on the big screen in a movie. On top of that, they're going to stick to focusing on major characters and their stronger franchises. This means that instead of focusing on characters like Agatha or Ironheart or maybe Wonder Man coming out, they're going to keep their focus on their major characters like Spider-Man, Shang-Chi, the Fantastic Four, Doctor Strange, the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, let me tell you something, Marvel. Growing up and even as an adult, I didn't care about Thor. Okay? I didn't care about Nick Fury. I didn't care about Black Widow. I didn't care about Hawkeye. Okay? I didn't care about Loki. I didn't care about Falcon. I didn't care about War Machine. I didn't care about Iron Man. Okay? I was mainly a Wolverine and Spider-Man guy growing up. And also Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman and The Flash. Okay? But Marvel, I was a specific type of, fan. I loved Venom. Loved Magneto. And there's a few others. But to get my point, all those ones you just heard me, I said I didn't care about. A lot of them are lesser known characters. Ant-Man, I didn't care about. All those characters were lesser known. But you made me love them through great storytelling and sticking to the fundamentals of those characters and doing things right. Doesn't matter whether they're major or minor, because when you tell a good story, you can make that minor a major.
The main Avengers characters that have been up front in the spotlight, they want to keep the spotlight on those big players. Essentially, what their plan is to cut back on what they deem the less exciting parts of the MCU and really focus on the most exciting parts. Which really, if you think back to what Phase 1 through 3 were about, they were about the Avengers. The focus was really always on the Avengers characters and then the other characters that exist a little bit outside of the Avengers realm, like Doctor Strange and the Guardians of the Galaxy. That was their main focus, and then bringing them together. That was the really cool thing. We always, at some point in time, knew that these characters were eventually going to come together on screen, whereas now, with all of the different characters that have come out on Disney+, we're really unsure of how it's all going to connect. Like, I am personally really excited for the Agatha Darkhold Diaries series. However, will Agatha appear in the next Avengers film? Will she appear in Avengers Secret Wars or anywhere else after the Darkhold Diaries series? I have no idea. Is there even a place for her somewhere out there? We know the Scarlet Witch is eventually going to come back, and we know she's stronger than Agatha, so where would Agatha fit into the overall Avengers MCU story? I think that's what Marvel Studios is going to go back to doing, really focusing on these characters who are a part of the Avengers teams or other major teams in the MCU, and then have them come together in these huge Avengers films. But really moving forward, we know what the focus is going to be about. It's going to be about the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, and hopefully a new Avengers team. Hopefully the Avengers don't just get completely sidelined in the next saga, but we still have a team. However, the Fantastic Four and X-Men are enough by themselves to really focus a lot of attention on. So this is Marvel's new plan, and Disney's new plan as well, as Bob Iger, of course, is the CEO of Disney, and seems to be working very closely with Kevin Feige. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. What do you think about this? Do you think it's...
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you focus on if you're not focusing on the fundamentals of these characters and the storytelling, okay? And getting away from all this political stuff you've bathed yourself in, because you've lost billions of dollars and you've lost multi-millions of subscribers on Disney+. The numbers speak for themselves. People can talk trash about all the people online that do not like this agenda stuff that Disney has gone with, but the numbers don't lie. Horrible performance. And I am so glad, as much as I love Disney, that I did not buy stock years ago. I wanted to buy Disney stock years ago, because I'm like, oh, this is a blue chip company. I mean, come on now, it's Disney. You know how mad I'd have been if I had sunk thousands of dollars in that? Like I said, Disney watches us. And Disney, I've worked with Disney in the past, brand deals and everything. And they were easy to work with. They were good people to work with. You know what I mean? So I have nothing against Disney, but they need to get their act together. Seriously. Because like I said, I'm holding by a string of hope. You know what I mean? And I'm just waiting for them to get their act together so that I can, you know what I mean, go fully in and just be happy every trailer that I watch again. And it'll be so great. Get over to the Cosmic Wonder and subscribe. Tell them Tyrone Magnus sent you. 10 million subscribers. Woo!